Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, and today we're going to talk about something that could completely change the way you learn and use English. We're going to explore the best ways to become truly fluent in English, moving step by step from a complete beginner level all the way to an advanced, confident speaker. This isn't just about memorizing grammar rules or cramming long vocabulary lists. This is about building English into your daily life, training your brain to think in English, and practicing in ways that actually stick. If you stay with me from start to finish, you're not just going to hear advice, you're going to have a clear path you can follow and practical exercises you can start using today. When you're at the beginning of your English learning journey, it can feel overwhelming. There are so many words you don't know, so many grammar structures you haven't learned, and sometimes it's hard to even make one complete sentence without stopping. I want you to know that's completely normal. Every single fluent speaker you hear today was once in that same place. The key is to accept where you are and then commit to building small, consistent habits that push you forward a little every day. Imagine English like a small plant. You can't make it grow in one day, but if you give it sunlight, water, and care every day, it will grow stronger without you even noticing at first. Let's start with one of the most powerful habits, daily listening. Listening is the input your brain needs to get familiar with the sounds, rhythm, and patterns of English. I recommend choosing one source of slow, clear English every day and just letting yourself absorb it without pressure. It could be an audio lesson, a slow-paced YouTube video, or even a short conversation recording. As you listen, try not to translate every word. Just focus on understanding the main idea and letting your ears get comfortable with the sound of English. For example, I might say slowly, "I'm going to the store to buy some fruit." You repeat it in your head without translating. The more you do this, the more natural English will feel. Now, let's turn this into a little practice together. I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it exactly as I say it. Don't change anything. Don't rush. Ready? Today is a beautiful day, and I feel happy to be learning English. One more time, slowly. Today is a beautiful day, and I feel happy to be learning English. Excellent. Now, imagine you're saying that to a friend. Say it with a smile in your voice, like you're sharing something positive. One of the best ways to speed up your progress is to combine listening with shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence in English and then you speak it immediately after, copying the speaker's rhythm and tone as closely as you can. This is different from just repeating words. You're training your mouth, your voice, and your brain to move together in real time. Let's try it now. I'll say a sentence, then you say it immediately after me. I'm learning something new every day. Again, I'm learning something new every day. Good. Now, let's make it slightly longer. I'm learning something new every day, and I'm proud of my progress. One more time. I'm learning something new every day, and I'm proud of my progress. Another important part of moving from beginner to advanced is learning to think in English. At first, You will naturally translate in your head. That's okay. But the sooner you start forming thoughts directly in English, the faster you'll become fluent. A simple exercise for this is to describe what you're doing right now in English. For example, if you're sitting at a table, you might think, I am sitting at my desk and I am listening to Natasha speak. You can do this with everything: cooking, walking, working, even waiting for a bus. The more you practice describing your actions in English, the more natural it will become to think in English without translation. Let's practice together right now. I'll give you a situation, and you try to describe it in your own words, in English. You are sitting in a cafe, drinking coffee, and watching people outside the window. How would you describe it? You might say, I am sitting in a cafe, drinking hot coffee, and watching people walk by. Now, let's add a feeling. I am sitting in a cafe, drinking hot coffee, and feeling relaxed as I watch people walk by. That extra detail makes your English sound more natural and expressive. Vocabulary building is also a key part of reaching fluency, but many learners make the mistake of memorizing long lists of random words. The problem is, if you don't see or use those words in real situations, you'll forget them quickly. Instead, learn words in context. This means you focus on words and phrases that come from something you've heard, read, or experienced in English. For example, if you hear the phrase, take your time in a TV show, learn it as a whole phrase and practice it in different sentences. Take your time, there's no rush. I'll wait, take your time. You can take your time to decide. By doing this, you remember not just the word, but also how it's actually used in real conversations. Another powerful tool is speaking with yourself. Yes, it might feel strange at first, but it's one of the best ways to practice without needing a partner. You can speak out loud about your plans for the day, describe what you see, or even imagine a conversation with someone. The more you do it, the more your brain gets used to producing English automatically. Here's a quick exercise you can try right now. Look around your room and describe 5 things you see in English. For example, I see a red chair in the corner. There's a blue book on the table. The window is open, and I can hear birds. My phone is on the desk, beside my laptop. The floor is clean and shiny. Simple sentences like these train your brain to think in English without pressure. One of the biggest challenges for learners moving from beginner to advanced is confidence. Confidence in speaking comes from 2 things: knowing the words and structures you need, and training your mouth and mind to use them without fear. You can have perfect grammar knowledge, but if you freeze when it's time to speak, you won't sound fluent. That's why you must combine knowledge learning with speaking practice every single day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Think of it like playing a sport. Reading about how to play basketball won't help you unless you actually hold the ball and practice shooting. Here's a practice you can try to build confidence. Choose a simple topic, like my favorite food, and speak about it for 1 full minute without stopping. Don't worry if you repeat yourself or make small mistakes. The goal is to keep speaking. You might say, "My favorite food is pizza. I like pizza because it has cheese, tomato sauce, and many toppings. I often eat pizza with my friends on the weekend. Sometimes I make pizza at home with vegetables and mushrooms. I like how it smells when it's cooking. Pizza makes me happy." Even if it feels repetitive, you're training your brain to stay active in English. Once you can do 1 minute, increase it to 2 minutes, then 3. The longer you can keep talking without stopping, the closer you get to thinking in English automatically. And remember, you can do this anywhere. You could be walking outside, waiting for a bus, or sitting at home, and just decide to talk about what you see or what you're feeling. Reading out loud is another secret weapon for fluency. Many learners only read silently, but reading aloud helps connect your eyes, brain, and mouth. It improves your pronunciation, strengthens your speaking muscles, and builds your confidence in saying complete sentences. You can choose anything you enjoy, a short article, a dialogue, a story, and read it slowly, clearly, and with expression. If you come across a word you don't know how to pronounce, check it, repeat it, and then read the whole sentence again. Over time, your reading voice will become smoother and more natural, and that carries over into real conversations. Let's do a short out-loud reading exercise together. I'll read a sentence slowly, and you repeat it with me. Every day I am getting better at speaking English. Again. Every day I am getting better at speaking English. Now, let's make it longer. Every day I am getting better at speaking English, and I feel more confident when I talk to other people. One more time. Every day I am getting better at speaking English, and I feel more confident when I talk to other people. Another area to focus on is pronunciation and intonation. Fluency is not only about the words you use, it's also about how you sound when you use them. English has a natural rhythm with stressed and unstressed syllables, rising and falling tones, and connected speech. When you listen to native speakers, notice how they don't pronounce every single word separately. They connect sounds, and sometimes even drop certain sounds in casual speech. For example, "I am going to" often becomes "I'm gonna" in spoken English. If you want to sound natural, you should learn to recognize and practice these patterns. Here's a small pronunciation practice for you. Repeat after me slowly. I'm gonna make some tea. Again. I'm gonna make some tea. Now, try it at normal speed. I'm gonna make some tea. You can replace the last part with other phrases. I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm gonna call my friend. This way, you're practicing real-life phrases, the way they're actually spoken. Writing in English every day will also push you forward, especially if you don't have many speaking opportunities. Keep a short daily journal where you write about your day, your thoughts, or your plans in English. It doesn't have to be long. Even 5 sentences are enough. This helps you think in English, build sentences, and notice grammar patterns. And if you read your writing out loud afterward, you turn it into a speaking exercise too. For example, you might write, "Today I went to the park. The weather was sunny and warm. I saw children playing and people walking their dogs. I bought ice cream and enjoyed it while sitting on a bench. It was a peaceful day." Reading that aloud gives you speaking and pronunciation practice without needing a conversation partner. Another tip for going from beginner to advanced is to use English in real-life tasks as much as possible. If you like cooking, follow a recipe in English. If you're interested in fitness, watch workout videos in English. If you enjoy games, switch them to English. The more you use English in activities you already love, the less it feels like study. This is one of the fastest ways to build natural to long-term fluency. Now, let's do a short describe and expand practice together. I'll give you a sentence, and your job is to add more detail to make it richer. The sentence is, I am reading a book. How can you expand it? You could say, I am reading a book about space and the universe. Or, I am reading a book in the evening while drinking tea. Or, I am reading a book that my friend recommended to me last week. Adding details not only makes your English sound more advanced, it also trains your brain to think creatively in English. One thing many learners underestimate is the importance of repeating what they have learned. Repetition is not boring, it's essential. Your brain needs to see, hear, and use a new word or structure many times before it becomes natural. Think of it like learning to ride a bicycle. You don't get on once and expect to ride perfectly. You practice, you repeat the same movements, and eventually, it becomes automatic. Language works exactly the same way. That's why you should review your vocabulary. Practice the same sentences in different ways, and revisit old lessons often. The more you repeat, the more confident you will feel in real conversations. Here's an example of how you can practice repetition without feeling bored. Choose a short sentence and say it in 5 different ways, changing only small details. Let's try with, I like walking in the park. You could say, I really like walking in the park. I like walking in the park on sunny days. I like walking in the park with my friends. I like walking in the park in the morning. I like walking in the park when it's quiet. You see, you are repeating the core structure, but adding variety. This helps you practice both fluency and flexibility. Another powerful technique is to use language islands. This means you prepare and memorize small chunks of speech about common topics in your life. For example, you might prepare a short introduction about yourself, a description of your job, or an explanation of your hobbies. When someone asks you about these topics, you can respond smoothly, without hesitation. Over time, you expand these islands and connect them, creating larger sections of fluent speech. Let's try one together. Imagine you're introducing yourself. You could say, Hi, my name is Alex. I live in Madrid, and I work as a graphic designer. In my free time, I enjoy hiking, reading, and cooking. Now, try adding more detail. Hi, my name is Alex. I live in Madrid, the capital of Spain, and I work as a graphic designer for a small marketing company. In my free time, I enjoy hiking in the mountains near my home, reading mystery novels, and cooking Italian food for my friends and family. From beginner to advanced, grammar is something you will always keep improving, but you don't have to study grammar in a heavy academic way. Focus on learning the grammar you actually need for speaking. For example, beginners should focus on present, past, and future tenses. As you progress, you can add conditionals, complex sentences, and more advanced structures. The key is to practice grammar in real sentences, not just in exercises. If you learn the present perfect tense, for example, don't just memorize the rule. Use it in your daily conversations. You could say, I have never been to Canada. I have seen that movie before. I have just finished my homework. The more you use grammar in speaking, the faster it will become natural. Listening to yourself speak is also a very effective way to improve. You can record your voice while reading a text or speaking about a topic. Then, listen back to notice areas for improvement. At first, this might feel strange, but it's incredibly useful. You might notice that you speak too fast or that you don't pronoun. See certain words clearly. By identifying these areas, you can work on them directly. For example, if you notice you're not pronouncing these sounds correctly, you can practice words like think, through, this, and that slowly until you get them right. Let's do a quick pronunciation drill together. For the sounds, repeat after me slowly. Think, thought, through, three. Now for the voiced the sound. This, that, these, those. When you practice, put your tongue lightly between your teeth and push the air out for the soft th in think, for the harder th in this. Add a bit of voice to the sound. Another thing to remember is that fluency comes from balance. You need to balance listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If you focus only on listening, you might understand a lot, but struggle to speak. If you focus only on writing, you might write well, but have trouble with pronunciation. That's why I recommend creating a simple daily routine that includes all 4 skills, even in small amounts. For example, you might listen to a short English audio in the morning, speak for 5 minutes about your day, read 1 page of a book, and write 3 sentences in your journal. It doesn't have to be long, it just has to be consistent. Let's practice combining skills now. I'll give you a short story. First, listen. Yesterday, I went to the market to buy some fresh vegetables. I bought carrots, tomatoes, and spinach. On my way home, I met an old friend, and we talked for 10 minutes. Now, repeat the story after me. Then, try to write it down in your own words. Finally, speak it again, but change some details. For example, change the place or the things you bought. This type of combined practice helps your brain connect the skills and makes your learning much stronger. Immersion is also a key step for reaching an advanced level. Even if you can't live in an English-speaking country, you can create an English environment around yourself. Change your phone and computer settings to English. Follow English language social media accounts. Watch movies and shows without subtitles. And think about your daily activities in English. The more you surround yourself with the language, the more your brain will treat it as normal, and the faster your fluency will grow. Another important step in moving from beginner to advanced English is learning to adapt your language depending on the situation. This is called register, the difference between formal and informal speech. For example, the way you talk to a close friend is not the same as the way you talk in a job interview or a presentation. Knowing when to use casual language and when to use more formal expressions makes you sound much more natural and confident. For instance, with a friend you might say, "Hey, what's up?" But in a professional setting, you might say, "Good morning, how are you today?" Practicing both styles will prepare you for any kind of conversation. Let's do a quick exercise together. I'll give you a situation, and you think of two ways to say it, one informal and one formal. Situation: you're asking someone for help. Informal: can you give me a hand? Formal: could you please assist me with this? Another one. Situation: you're telling someone you understand. Informal: got it. Formal: I understand. Or, I see what you mean. This awareness will help you sound more natural and appropriate in different environments. One mistake many learners make is speaking in a flat tone with no variation in pitch or emphasis. This can make even correct sentences sound unnatural. English is full of intonation patterns that signal meaning and emotion. For example, your voice often goes up at the end of a question, "Are you ready?" and goes down at the end of a statement, "I'm ready." Practicing these patterns will make our speech more expressive and easier to understand. You can train this by listening carefully to native speakers and imitating their melody, not just their words. Let's practice intonation with a simple phrase. Repeat after me in a question tone. "You're coming with us?" Now repeat it as a statement, with confidence. "You're coming with us." Do you hear the difference? The rise in your voice at the end of the question